ESPN and the Professional Bowlers Association present the championship round finals of the $95,000 Pacific Cowbowl PBA Senior Open. Championship pair, lanes 21 and 22, and Gene Stuss trying to live down what happened last week at the Showboat in Las Vegas.
Well, he averaged 229 this period, so hopefully he's got confidence in it.
Players averaged about 210, all 5 of them, that is, composite-wise. Championship round pair, Gene opens with a strike and obviously feels better about this pair.
Don Gilman a little slow getting up. I asked him if he'd ever been on any kind of local telecast or anything. He's, nope. He says, I'm a true rookie. So this is his first shot. I'm sure that even at 55, his heart's beating quite rapidly right now.
Stroke type player, turned it a little early and crosses over and trips out the 6-pin. We did not see him throw the ball on the Brooklyn side in an hour of practice.
Well, it's different when they turn that lights on, I'll tell you. Leans over, his 4-step player. Kind of holds the ball like Marshall Holman. Very simple game, short backswing, nice slide. You know, he's got a simple game. Once he gets lined in, he repeats shots, and he's got a nice roll on the ball, Dan. His ball carries well.
Don averaged 233 for the opening round and was second after 6 games in this tournament, and comes back nicely and doubles up on Gene Stuss.
Did you see him extend through that ball that time? I mean, the hand went right around the ball and the fingers imparted lift to it. Very nice hand release and just more relaxed. He got that break the first frame.
Gene Stuss, who defeated Bob Korth last night in the position round game, 214 to 205, just snuck into the top 5. Tries for the light hit and gets it. 4 shots, 4 X's here at Cowbowl.
I'll tell you what, Dan, there were a lot of pins standing there for a second. They all fell down. That was really a weird hit. Watch Gene, 5-step player. Again, what we're looking for him is to see if he stays down as he lets the ball go. Boy, he wants to come up. You know, it's so close. The difference between a good shot and a bad shot with him.
Still favoring that tender left knee that injured a week ago. Beautiful shot by Gene Stuss on the left-hand lane.
Stayed down really nice with that shot all the way through. But even on his good shots, you know, he lets it go, and then it's just instinctive for him to stand straight up.
Don Gilman, 55 years of age. Out here playing with the kids. Crosses over again on the right-hand lane, and this time not as fortunate.
Well, last time the 3-pin tripped out the 6. This time he leaves the solid 6. And he had the right lane figured out in practice. He's just not extending through that. And that's caused by nerves and pressure right now.
Hails from Oregon City, Oregon. And John Handegard told me that he's been bowling against Don for the better part of 30 years. He said he started to bowl him in Oregon events back in the early 60s. He said he's a very fine player. And if you take a look at the board, look at Gilman, was never lower than 4th at any time during the week.
Well, that's amazing. He just had a good reaction here all week long, leading the tournament after the 4th round.
Quick look at the board, 5 strikes and 6 frames. Things happening quickly here at Cowbowl in Lakewood, California. And soft with the speed, the big 4 jumps up on lane 21.
Soft all the time. You know, when you get a little sharp reaction at that back end, we watch it here. The ball's pretty much on line, but he's really slowed down with the speed on this one. Can't quite tell how fast it's going. The bowler track's too far away for these feeble eyes to see. Oh, there it is, at 15.6. That's getting the speed down there. 6 out. You always want to get the 2, Dan. You need every pin that you can get.
So Gene Stuss, who was a victim last week, now leads by 29 as he heads into the 4th frame after starting with the first 3.
Gene's ball's reacting really interestingly on the telecast. It skids, makes a hook, and then kind of rolls out right at the pins. There's the skid. Now it's moving. That one didn't roll out. Earlier, when the back ends were a little drier, the ball was kind of going straight at the pocket. That one kept finishing all the way through. So the oil is carrying down the lane, something we talked about in the tip today.
All right, would you prefer to have your ball roll out in the pocket or continue to hook?
I never had a trouble with my ball rolling out at the pocket, Dan.
You mean it wasn't rolling by the time it got there?
Many times that's true. Exactly right.
back in the full roller days, perhaps.
And even later.
One thing is for sure, Stuss is online, lined up, and targeted on 21 and 22. Had one light hit, but other than that, Gene is now 5 for 5.
And poor Don Gilman, the first time he's on television, the guy's got 5 in a row at him. It reminds me when Nelson Burton beat me my first time. He had 6 in a row at me. So,
well, he just tried to welcome you to the big leagues. As you mentioned, you know, Don thinks, boy, he comes out, finishes 21st, goes right up and makes a telecast. Boy, it's easy out here, but
let him talk to John Hersenna, where they've averaged 240 at him for the last 8 games.
Well, so. Incredible record for him. 1 and 7 in title matches.
He's got to get a little meaner or something. You know, the big physical body. Throw a little fear into his opponents.
He is a good-hearted guy. He goes out, and no matter what happens, he's going to enjoy himself. Opening match, moving along quickly. Gene Stuss with a 5-bagger, leads by 49. So he's trying to send Don Gilman to Escondido about 5 frames early.
Right. Get him on the road quickly.
What a difference a week makes. Last week it was 153 in the title match. He's got that beat almost right now.
Right. He's already got let's see, 110. He's already got 120 if he doesn't throw another ball.
There you go. Better shot. Turn around, must have known it. Left the soft end pin.
Some of the players are having a little trouble sticking on the left part of the approach, shooting 10 pins. Tim Albin, we'll see in the next game, spent a lot of time practicing 10 pins during this hour of practice.
Yeah, I think he spent 55 minutes shooting the 10 pin and the 7 pin and about 5 minutes trying to find the pocket. Of course, the first shot he threw at the pocket, he struck. So maybe he knew something that we didn't. Spare up for Gilman in the 6th, but he is down by 50 because Gene Stuss has done nothing but label the pocket here at Cal Bowl in Lakewood. Gene Stuss with 9 career sanctioned 300 games, started with the first 5.
Well, he's not even thinking about it at this point. Then he gets a couple more and it'll start floating through the back part of his mind. But right now he's just thinking build on that lead.
And ahead he is by 50 pins. Is it 6 in a row? No problem.
It's flirting from the back to the front now. It's getting in the frontal lobe there. Right flush in the 1-3 and the 6 just clipped the 10 going around. Did you see that?
I mean, Gino is humming that thing too, Michael.
He doesn't like to throw real hard. He'd rather just stroke. That's how he figures he had trouble with his knee last week and he had to throw hard. Really gave that room. Boy, did it come back nice.
A 7-bagger, so if you need to get something to eat or if you have to
don't go away right now.
Just stay seated right now because we may be watching something here in the next few frames.
Don Gilman just wants to get out of the way.
Soft tap of the 10. So a strike for Gilman.
This game kind of reminds me of my first game ever in match play in 1967 in San Jose. I bowled Jim St. John, and he started with the first 11 at me. Left a fast 4-7 on the 12th ball for 298 and said, "Welcome to the PBA."
Were you giving him the Durbin jinx on the 12th shot?
No, I was rooting for it.
Okay. And what did you shoot?
I don't remember.
Wasn't enough.
Definitely not enough.
High, and the 3-6-10 is what's left on lane 21. Gilman pondering his first ever appearance on national television, and it's win or lose, been a great week for him.
He's proved he can compete with these guys out here at 55 years of age, and there's a lot of guys like him, Dan.
It's interesting because Don said that he figured it might take him a year or 2 to get to a championship round and make some finals, because he said, I need to get in there and get some experience and you know, bowling against all the legends, and here it is, the second tournament. He's on the telecast.
Going for number 8.
Needs some room. Stuss with 8. You thought I was kidding, didn't you?
Yeah. I think, though, that his favorite of the 2 lanes is the left lane. You watch the follow through here, Dan. Watch it. See, he's trying to help that thing back, and it's dry out there, so the dryness is bringing the ball back. But that really wasn't his ace shot. the left lane is hooking even more, it appears to me, and so he trusts it more on the left lane. Oh, he really broke the elbow on that one. They came flying back.
Stuss with the first 9, 5 300 games in the championship round in PBA history, none by a senior. Little light on lane 22 for Gilman.
And you can see the oil traveling down the lane. Gilman is in slightly further, arcing the ball more than Stuss. Stuss is going straight down about 4 or 5. And now the ball won't make it back for Gilman. He's kind of caught in between. Needs to be further outside.
Funny, in the practice, you and I were both thinking that some of the players would play inside because that's what looked like a favorable shot. And now all of a sudden the lights have come on, and Stuss, probably Tim Albin, will play outside. I don't know about Handy or Hersina, but obviously Stuss has made the right choice. First strike in the 10th. Well, is Gene Stuss, obviously he realizes he has won this game, Mike, but what else is going through his mind right now? Is he thinking about the 10,000 for 300?
He's thinking more about the 300 itself. I had the first 9 one time in my career on television, you know, and all you're really thinking about when you get up in that 10th frame is making a quality shot.
A few years ago, we almost had our first ever 300 game on ESPN. Remember, Cheektowaga lanes, or Cheektowaga, New York, I should say, throughway lanes where Mark Roth started with the first 11.
Left the 10 pin.
That's right.
And then we had Jim Harvey a few years ago in Tucson, who had the first 11 and left the 1, 2, 4, I believe. So we're going to find out shortly.
Speaking of perfect games, Bill Johnson and Les Stubblefield with perfectos here at Cal Bowl, but this one would be an interesting 300 game.
Here it comes. Ooh! He keeps hitting that light hit and just blowing him out of there. The angle of the ball coming in from that outside angle is just destroying the 5-pin.
Trying to relax a little bit, do you think, at this point in time?
He's trying to keep the adrenaline under control, the heart rate under control, and again, just make the shot. That's what he's thinking in his mind. Make one more good shot right here.
Didn't waste any time, gave it more room, and it's 11 in a row for Gene Stuss. One more, and he jumps into the PBA record book.
And that was his best shot of the game so far, especially on that right lane. He trusted that one all the way out there. But did you notice how the crowd really comes alive after he gets that 11th strike? See that trust right out there? Swung it out to that first board and just finished hard all the way.
Crowd rooting it on, got it inside! 300 for Gene Stuss! Well, it's 10,000 from the PBA, but throwing a Brunswick ball with a Brunswick shirt, he will receive $100,000, I'm told, from Brunswick. Gene Stuss has created PBA history on the senior tour.
And here's the replay. Boy, just perfect. Absolutely. Look at the eyes. Room. And it rolled out and left the 10 pin. See that ball just kind of quit right at the pocket then?
Tim shaking his head, was hoping for a little carry there to make things interesting. Of course, aside from bowling on the PBA Senior Tour, he also owns Albin's Bowling Supply in Torrance, California.
You see the ball kind of quit at the pocket and leaves that soft 10. This is the spare he practiced for at least 20 minutes on the before the telecast. That's trouble. That's why he practiced it, because he knew he was going to have. Timmy throws the same shot at the strike ball and the spare ball. And most contemporary players will throw a different shot at the spares, and they'll throw it straighter and harder.
He's really a racing buff, and you've talked about that. He's had more injuries than Evel Knievel, I think, in terms of racing. Meanwhile, Gene Stuss keeps rolling along. He's thinking about John Hrsina, who will be up next if he defeats Tim Albert.
John Hrsina is thinking about 242. With their average, they'd say this guy may shoot another 300 at me. Brunswick would give him another 100,000 if he shot another 300.
Oh, sure they would. Those folks? Yeah. No question.
No question.
No. Jack Reichert to give him 100,000.
Personal check?
Sure he would.
A lot of room.
Stuss with another strike, and he's on target now to shoot 249. We may see 800 plus here tonight as well.
It's entirely possible. Entirely possible. 3 spares is all you have. Watch how light it comes in. Barely hits the head pin. The head pin clips the 2. That's known as the bucket crumbler.
Thumbs up. Of course, we have to give credit where credit is due. Tom Zader, the PBA Senior Tour Lane Maintenance Director, was the guy who designed the oil pattern this week and put it out there.
And the difference between the 2 players is the speed. Stuss, the lane is dry out there, and Timmy's trying to overcome it again with loft and turn, and his ball's actually rolling out of the pocket, where Stuss has got good speed, and his ball's finishing at the pocket.
It's interesting with Tim. He's obviously, we've talked about his racing career, and he said it's extremely technical. He said people that don't really understand racing don't have any idea how many factors that you have to apply to have the right tires and the management of the car. He said, but that's why I've been interested in bowling again. He said, with all the new high-tech equipment and all the things that are happening in the game, he said it just kind of sucked me right back in, you know, with leverage weight and axis weight and the different surfaces and bowling balls, and that's why he's back bowling.
But interesting, I talked to Gene, and I said, what kind of weights do you have in your ball? And he said, well, I just got a little side and a little top, which means the ball, he wants the ball to go down the lane a little bit and make a reasonably decent finish at the pocket. You know, it's just traditional weights that have been around in the game of bowling for 40 years. So it's nothing exotic like the block weight or leverage weight or all these different new things. Well, it's an experience. Timmy had a good time while he was out there, but didn't present too much of a challenge to Mr. Stuss.
Gene Stuss, the man of the hour right now, with a perfect game in game number 1. And that was worth $110,000. That's a lot of dough. Uh-oh, an errant shot on lane 22. I thought it would never happen.
Never happened. That's the first one that he started at the pocket rather than down the lane, leaves the baby split, and that's just concentration. I mean, you know, he's in such a good mood right now.
Well, the match obviously was well in hand, so obviously didn't concentrate.
At the baby split. Showing nothing's going wrong for him tonight right now.
It'll be interesting to chat with him at the end of the telecast. Find out what really he was thinking about.
You're assuming he's going to make it all the way through, huh?
Well, we're going to talk to him one way or another.
Okay.
If not anything else, to ask for a loan somewhere along the way.
Right. $110,000. Wow.
You had some years where you didn't make $110,000.
I never made $100,000.
No.
Did you see that solid 10? That was just like his 12th ball last game.
Gene Stuss with a 300 game and 2 consecutive victories. Gives it the thumbs up. We'll be back with more after this.
The top.
All right, I've heard of having double vision, but triple vision, Mike Durbin? The Budweiser girls are here with us tonight.
That does kind of think you got triple vision, doesn't it?
Well, we had a 303 lovely ladies to watch it. We're 3-3-3 tonight.
That makes 900 with Mr. Allison,
Well,
right?
I know one thing. I'm going to go out and buy a lottery ticket tomorrow.
3 is your number, huh?
It is now. Meanwhile, Gene Stuss is trying to win his 3rd match. And he opens with a light hit. And John Sinner's got to be thinking, no, not me. No, he's already got 300. I know he can't shoot 240 this game.
He may not shoot 240. He may shoot another 300.
John's probably thinking the same thing.
John says, as long as I keep striking, I can't lose.
I got a chance. I can go sudden death with him. Really has taken it well, John Drusilla. We've been joking around, but in the last year and a half, players have shot some telephone numbers against that gentleman. Would like to double, and doesn't. Cut that shot off a little bit short and leaves the baby split.
Shows even a man like him, you know, that tried to fit that one in there rather than just let it go, dude. Now he's got the baby split. And John, I'm sure, is going to throw it just hard and straight and try and clip the 3-pin on the right. Switches balls.
Throws a line drive and fits it very nicely between the 3 and the 10.
Yeah, that's the contemporary shot. What most of the turning players do is just pick another ball and throw hard straight at the spares.
Outside line, light hit, pins scatter around.
I find it interesting, Dan. We're talking at the top of the telecast about the new players, and we've got 30 new senior members a month joining the PBA, and new guys coming out here, new guys on the telecast and everything. When we get down to the final 2 games of this tournament, who are there? Handegard, Stuss, and Ursina. The top 3 from last year.
Here we are with 3 again. And for 3 in a row.
Leaves his third 10-pin.
I knew you were going to say that.
And Gene throwing 17.6 miles per hour, bellying it about 2.5 boards. Interesting. At 27 feet, the ball gets out to 4. Looks like it gets out further than that, doesn't it?
And our Brunswick bowler track charting the progress on lane 21 tonight. Just the left-hand lane this evening. Turned out to be the crucial lane in the 9th frame for Gene Stuss.
So basic 4-step delivery. Very strong. Strength, the biggest asset in this game.
Well, we were kidding around about John and all the big games that have been shot against him, and I had a chance to talk with him prior to the telecast this evening and asked him about those big scores.
Yeah, I've had a lot of big games shot at me. I'm hoping it'll end sooner or later, but if it doesn't end, I'm still having fun. I'm making some money, and I hope maybe this week might be my turn.
More speed, more turn. That lane hooks on that left lane.
Good a player as this guy is, he is 6-16 in the championship round, 1-7 in title games.
No matter how mellow you are or how even tempered you are, that plays on your mind.
And on your wallet.
Right.
9-pin lead for Gene Stuss, who needs to win 1 more game to get to the title match and take on the current 1991 PBA Player of the Year. As far as the seniors are concerned, John Handegard.
Did you see that ball lay there?
Woo! That ball looked about 4 boards left of target.
I don't know if it was that much, but he went with the boards, but the ball just held pocket. Watch it right here. Right about the first arrow, and now it looks like it's going to go high, and it just kind of lays there, and the 2 trips out to 4.
No, was that a tug or was that a foul line adjustment?
It was a tug. There's John Schuta, the general manager here, Cal Bowl.
What a great week for him. Of course, now he'll be able to puff out his chest and say the first PBA senior 300 game in the championship round was bowled right here at Cal Bowl in Lakewood, California.
And they, like I say, they were given $300 for every 300 game. Good shot here. Nothing that he did wrong. The ball just finished hard and left the 4-9. The ball cuts right through. See, the speed was slightly slower than the last time, 0.4 of a mile slower. And not quite as much belly. Went a little more direct with that shot. Tough spare. And
The
he
bubble
is human.
That's what Hersin is saying. I knew if this guy shot 300, I could get him in game number 3. Long way to go, though, here in the semifinal, and the title match will not be an easy task.
High again. Oh, the 3, 4, 6, 7, 10.
All right, how do you convert this, Mike?
Well, we used it on a tip last year in which you have to hook it in behind the 3-pin and drive the 3 into the 4-7. Well, he's going straight. I don't think that was the right way to do it, Dan. I think you have to hook the ball in behind the 3-pin. Even if he'd have clipped the 3-pin on the right, he'd have missed the 4, I believe. When you hook it in behind that spare, it creates a different angle on the pin going across the lane.
Yeah, because the 3-pin's going to be right of the target if you don't hook around it, isn't it?
More room on this lane. He gets the right hit. Yes, well, it's going to be right of the 4-pin anyway.
Yeah. After the open, though, 14-pin lead for Gene Stuss here in the semi-final game. We'll be right back. Gene Stuss in the semi-final game, still leading, as he has been most of the night. He was ahead in game number 1 from start to finish.
See, and that's just not good match game bowling on John Hersin's part, where his opponent open and then you open behind it. And the baby split again. You know, suddenly the lanes are changing a little bit, although he's going more direct. He's not trusting it to the right like he was.
Yeah, that ball looked like it was a couple boards left of where he was even the last frame when he struck.
Well, he's made this once on this lane already, so he should know where to stand and where to aim, but he needs to make it to maintain the lead. Has to hurry. He doesn't. So suddenly we're going from 300 and everything down to 180s then.
It's a humbling game.
Yes, isn't it? Yeah. But as we, you know, I talked about in the tip, you know, that the ball carries the oil down the lane. The lanes are changing. They have to make adjustments constantly during the both the qualifying finals and now telecast.
Disrupted by
John Handegard has a brush that he brushes on his shoe over there, and he dropped it over on the practice pair.
Well, we're just thankful he didn't drop it in game number 1.
Don't even think about that.
Especially in the 9th or 10th frame when Stuss is going for 300. In case you just dialed in ESPN to our telecast here this evening, you were about an hour late because things started with a bang here at Cal Bowl. That gentleman right there, Gene Stuss, became the first senior ever and the 6th PBA player ever to shoot a perfect game on national television, and courtesy of the good folks at Brunswick and of course the PBA and the house, won $110,000 and added 300 more to his first. Now, if he wins the tournament, he's at what, 121,200?
Get 130,000 after 2 weeks.
Good start.
Ready to catch the guys on the national tour.
That's right. Eric Forkel's the leading money winner on the PBA regular tour.
Well, we've had everything on the telecast tonight. 300s, now channel balls. Susan, his wife, saying, oops.
John, we didn't need that.
The only good part about that is that he was on a strike, so he didn't lose any count. If he can convert all 10 pins for a spare, he just gave it too much room.
I'm going to say he's going to come back and strike on this shot. Whoops.
Not unless it's Brooklyn.
Slight adjustment made there. You knew that ball was going left.
Oh, boy, that's an embarrassing frame. The first ball in the channel and the second ball misses the head pin on the left. And right now, you're rattled. I mean, just destroyed inside.
And Gene Stuss is sitting back there thinking, now, wait a minute. What is John doing here? Don't tell me I'm going to get a chance to come back in this game. But he leads by 19. Let's see what John can do on the left-hand lane.
High again.
And he leaves the dreaded Durbin.
3, 6, 9, 10. And the way he's playing the lanes, he's going to use his strike ball, or the first ball, to shoot at this spare. This is no gimme spare at all. I don't know how he's going to shoot this. Or he's going to shoot it off the strike line or move left. He's moving way left, but he's got to hook it in to get the 9 pin in the back. Good shot. Boy, oh boy. I'll tell you what. 300 to 150.
That's why it's the dreaded derby.
The DD.
It's a dreadful shot. And a disaster normally. Tough spare. Well, Stuss now is ahead by 30, and Gene has to be pinching himself at this point.
Right there.
Boy, the lanes are changing. Gave that one a little room, didn't quite finish. And right now, he's just trying to finish.
Went straight down the lane with that. You know, I asked John Handegard in practice if he was going to move out there with the rest of them, you know, and he had a different ball. You see, this ball's just not grabbing. He went high the last time. He probably moved a board with his feet, and now it doesn't make it back. Again, it's those adjustments.
Got a handful on that shot, and now he trips out the 4 and the 10.
As we say, it's his night. Handegard beats him tonight, I'll tell you.
A puzzled Gene Stuss, and man, I yanked that shot, didn't do it very well, and yet I double in the 8th and 9th. I'm leading at 40, and I'm thinking about successfully defending my title. Whack for a strike on lane 22, so Hercena has done anything but give up, but the best he could shoot would be 176.
And Gene is going to be in the 180s even if he opens in the 10th frame. So even if John strikes out, it's more or less just to save a little embarrassment. And Stuss is going to go on to face Handegard if he can just stay behind the foul line.
And the two players that finished 1-2 in the voting last year for Player of the Year will battle each other here for the title.
It'll be a rematch of the Battle Creek Senior Championship match, which Handegard more or less handed to Stuss. Poor John just never seemed to get lined up. He was bowling well in practice too. The lanes are just changing.
Funny thought just came to mind. What if John Handegard steps up in the title match before they start and Gene Stuss says, "Hey, I'll bowl you for 100,000." Probably won't happen.
Finish off with a 2-8-10. Wow.
Tough night for John Hercena. Sooner or later, this thing is going to turn around, and when it does, it'll be like the floodgates. He'll probably win 4 or 5 in a row. Meanwhile, Gene Stuss will get to the title match. This, believe me, has already been a night that he'll never forget, but if he wins the title on top of it, whew. Nice strike for Stuss. We'll head to break. When we come back, Gene and John for the $9,000 first place prize here at Cal Bowl in Lakewood, California. Gene Stuss, John Handegard for the Pacific Cal Bowl Senior Open title here.
And John Handegard at least has done something different than all the other opponents. He's going to make Stuss finish on the left lane, 21.
The handyman comes out right up the track and strikes just like he did all last night.
And John's kind of using an over-the-top release. You see his hand rotating over the ball, almost semi-spinner type thing.
Stuss now has to forget about everything other than the title match.
It was soft with the speed that time, and the ball bit quickly. 4-6-7. See, then what goes through his mind right then, is that the lane or was that me? And so the next time he comes up on that lane, the tendency is to say, you know, it was the lane. I'm going to move a board left, but I really think he just threw the ball slowly.
I wonder what the speed was on that shot.
I think it was down less than 17.
I'll bet it was too. When he shot the 300 game, every shot was over 17.
Oh, he
yeah, he was coming him in there about 18.
Yeah, the adrenaline was really flowing.
He was throwing fastballs. What a night for Gene Stuss. And thankfully, you and I were here to watch it, huh?
Thankfully.
Better speed with that shot. And a nice reaction.
Well, Gene's come back before.
Yeah, that arm swing's got to be loose now.
Well, he's still bowling for a title.
You're
I mean, you know, he's bowled 2 other games since the 300. He's forgotten about that, and he wants to win.
And he can honestly say he doesn't care about the money now.
You always care about the money, Dad.
Yeah, I hear you. Handegard up the track again. This time can't get the 6-pin to take out the 10, but I have a feeling that old John is going to do nothing but strap this ball in the pocket.
Well, he's playing further out than he had been. You know, he's watched these guys, and John's certainly a bright guy. He's using weights, interestingly enough, all week long, where he has a little thumb and positive weight, positioning a pin on the bowling ball, the weight blocks. And the purpose of that is to try and get the ball to make a nice even arc all the way down the lane. Trouble. John's style of bowling is he doesn't like violent reactions. He wants an even arc to his ball all the way.
Consistent.
Kind of like his bowling game. Consistent.
Well, perhaps the one aspect of that is the fact that you get a good feel for what the lane is doing if you make a good shot. You know, I mean, you don't see the over and under reaction.
Right. There's nothing more discouraging than to make a good shot and the overreaction lane throws the ball either high or light.
Went a little further right with this one, and it came rolling back and rolled out in the pocket.
Well, see, that's that weight that he's got in the ball makes the even reaction. The whole idea of it is when the ball hits a dry area of the lane, it doesn't overreact. It makes a gentle move rather than a hard move.
If it hits the oil,
it kind of rides it.
Further right with this shot, and a beauty it was for Gene Stutz.
And the speed was up. We'll never know whether he moved with his feet or not, but I think he did move a little bit left with his feet.
He might have, but it also looked like he threw that ball a little bit right, Mike, on the shots that he's gotten in trouble on the right-hand lane. It's almost as if he's pulled them.
That's right. The swing bounces out a little bit at the top and heads high. Kind of like my golf swing.
Handegaard up by 1, but Stutz is on a double here in the 4th frame, looking for 3 in a row.
This guy's a competitor all the way through, I'll tell you what.
Well, when you consider the fact that Gene Stutz finished 27th last year at the Firestone Tournament of Champions, that says a lot for his ability. Playing against the touring players in that one.
Yeah. Handegaard trailing by 9, gives it room. Didn't make it back. Interesting. He picked a finish on this lane. Hersin in the last match picked a finish on the left lane, never got a strike on it. Now John has picked a finish on the right lane and soft 10 and a 2-pin.
A great sportscaster once promised to tell it like it is. Not quite, because first you have to tell it like it was. Every weeknight, Classic Now will take breaking sports news and give it to you with a deep perspective and backstory. Are today's stars innovators or imitators? From yesterday to today and back, all in one.
Are they doing handicap things in that?
I don't know.
Giving points?
I like the Cuban coach's remark. Beating them is like trying to block out the sun with your finger. Doesn't work. A trip of the 4 for Sir Handegaard on the left-hand lane, and he'll take that strike.
And again, when he throws it right on the left lane, it makes it back. He threw it right on the right lane and didn't make it back.
17-11 looks like a first quarter score from the NBA, doesn't it? 17 strikes on lane 22. Good lane. Let's make it 18.
He gives it that room and it makes that arc. It's just dead flush into the pocket.
Stutz looking for another big game and a title. Ahead by 19 as he heads to the 6th frame. See the 229 average on this pair. Well, John Handegaard averaged 235 on lanes 21 and 22.
Good speed. A little bit too much speed. Like to see what Bowler Track said on that one about how fast he was zipping that one down there. Almost 18 miles per hour. If we could make sure that one didn't go high, I'll tell you.
That's Joe Berardi's speed at a spare 17.9.
Oh no, he gets it up about 20.
Yeah, he revs it up about 20. You're right. He's the hardest I've ever seen anybody throw at a spare. Joe Berardi. Stutz with a spare. That hasn't happened many times here tonight.
Handegaard's thankful now. John has got to figure out the right lane this time right now. of room. Great reaction. What a nice adjustment. Did you see that? It's like he went one and one right. One right with his feet and one right with his target and just made a perfect shot. See the straight swing. Short. Look at the follow through, the balance. Now the arc of the ball. Now watch the 6-pin just kind of lay on that 10. Nudged it over.
Kiss and a kick, and the 10-pin disappeared. A double for Handy. If he strikes here, he retakes the lead. Ooh, that came off nice and clean.
Oh.
The thing about John Handegard, Mike, you can pick the first frame, the 7th frame, the 4th frame. Look at him in his shot, and they all look exactly the same.
You wonder why he didn't do better as a younger bowler. I mean, with a solid game like that.
Well, I was there at his worst moment in Salt Lake City.
I remember that one, too.
Final 8 games, he was leading by almost 300 pins, and Wayne Chester caught him.
Hurry.
Thankful that the 7-pin fell.
Pin roll around, almost hit that 2-pin net. I'll tell you what, he's got it coming out of the sky at pins. But he still trails by 3 if he makes this.
Next week in Escondido, Palomar Lanes, I'm told that they still have room for a few more Pro-Am entries. If you're interested in bowling with Gene Stuss or John Handegard, you'd love to bowl with Gene. Ask him about that $110,000 shot. Oh, and a mistake for Stuss. At this point in time, that was a lapse in concentration.
Well, he played it from the inside, and it hit the oil and just skidded right by. He kept waiting for it to hook, and look at the difference. I mean, so close. You couldn't put a piece of paper in between those.
That's like he missed by a freckle.
Yes, by a freckle. Keeps himself alive. Now Mr. Handegard is in the driver's seat.
He's on a respirator now.
Let's see what John does in this right lane.
Handegard up by 14. And he's now up in the 8th.
It was right about this point in the championship match at Battle Creek that John handed it right back to him. Not this time, boy. He didn't get to be Senior PBA Player of the Year for nothing. Just a perfect shot. Wants a re-rack here now. Same shot again. You can't tell the difference. The ball makes the arc a little bit more flush up here. That's a board 17 strike right there.
And when you say board 17 strike, what are you referring to?
Well, there are 39 boards on the lane, and the center of the pocket on both sides is board 17. To increase it to 34. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow, the pocket 710, and Mr. Stuss is suddenly very much alive. Wow, what a bad break. What a bad break that was. Comes in light. Watch the head pin and the 5-pin. The head pin went in front of the 7-pin, and the 5-pin just died.
Opts for the 7. For John Handegard, the perfectionist, felt like he'd do an excellent shot, ends up with an open in the 9th. He could still shoot 226.
But Gene Stuss is in the position that he can lock him out.
Stuss could shoot 236.
Here's the big shot.
Gave it room.
Oh, can't throw it any better. I'll tell you, even match going into the 10th frame. It's who can perform here that'll win the match.
Well, that's usually what it comes down to for a title.
It's justice. These two guys have been the two best players out here. It comes down to the 10th frame. Which one performs in the 10th wins the tournament.
All Handy wants is a chance.
Right. We could have a tie.
It's conceivable. Lots of speed.
Oh, the 8-pin was up there for a second.
Now just calm down, relax. You like to see that 8-pin fall late, don't you?
Watch it. He almost has the solid 8. He couldn't have thrown it any better. And the head pin, I think it was, going by just the butt of it, clipped that 8. This is for the win right here. pin this time. Mr. Handegaard has a chance, and he never changed expression.
Yeah, but I'll guarantee you the blood pressure went up about 40 beats on that shot. Stuss with a spectacular shot to lock out Handegaard, comes up empty-handed.
And the 5-pin went in front of the 8 on that shot. If we saw a replay, you'd see the 5-pin slide right in front of the 8.
Stuss on one hand has to be thinking, I got a great break with the first shot, and then, well,
watch the reaction. Look at the 5-pin. See, right in front of the 8, like a bullet, it shot over toward the 7.
just flicked it, but the 8-pin remained. Now Stuss has to watch John Handegaard. Needs all 3 and starts with the first one.
Oh, was that the 6 just laid on that 10? I don't know if he's going to strike out, but I'd be willing to put some money that he is going to hit the pocket. Watch this shot. Oh, and it's just a pretty shot. As Billy Whaley used to say, the tender touch. He needs this one and one more, but if he doesn't strike here, Stuss wins. Has to hurry. Oh, the solid 10.
For Gene Stuss, a dream-like performance. He wins the tournament, shoots the 300 game. What else is left? And a week ago, he was as down as you could get. John Handegaard with a brilliant shot to try and win the title.
Watch the 6. It just isn't fair, Dan. You throw it that good and don't win, but what a performance by both players.
They're on their feet, and rightfully so. Gene Stuss has made history here in Lakewood.